Hello, welcome to this week's edition of the Heat Flash. I'm joined right now by Harrisburg Heat head coach Tarik Walker. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, you had a tryout last weekend, and talk about how that went.
It went great. We had about 34 guys that came and showed up. All of them registering beforehand, which was great for us to stay organized. And we put them through the paces of just playing and letting them show us what they could do on the soccer field.
What were your thoughts on the tryout based upon the skill level you saw? Were you surprised by the skill level?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had some really difficult decisions to make. All of the kids were talented. All of them showed super effort, super sportsmanship, and getting to know them just for that short time, they were all great people. So we really had some difficult decisions to make, and some of the decisions aren't even done yet, and we're 3 or 4 days away from it. So they did a great job of making it hard for us to cut people.
Talk about your process. Do you have film of the workout? Do you watch film of it, or you just base it on memory of what you saw?
Yeah, we based it on memory. We'd jotting down notes throughout. There were even some times during the sessions where I had to stop and jot down notes. Mostly through memory and through notes. And Gino was taking his own notes, so it's taken us a bit of time to get together and put our notes together and figure out what we want to do.
And you said, correct me if I'm wrong, you had about 5 or 6 spots open heading into the tryout. And you said the fact that it makes it there's some tough decisions to be made. That, I guess, that speaks to the skill level that was there.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a high level of play. We had some of our veteran guys filter in that helped us out with some of the play, and I think that helped us make some of the judgments that we needed to make. But some of the decisions we still are trying to figure out what our contracts are and who we're going to sign, and so some of the decisions we still haven't really made yet.
I know I saw midfielder Tyler Whitmer in some of the pictures. Does it help you see those guys against a guy that you know that can play in this league?
Yeah. And I think that's part of it. We had Tyler there, we had Brad Kerstetter there, we had Kenny Foltz there. So we had a player at just about each level, meaning position-wise. So we had a defender, we had a midfielder, we had a forward. So it helped us kind of gauge what we were looking at.
Fantastic. And can you talk about any of the players that can you say the names that stood out to you at the tryout?
Yeah, we had I think Lucas Silva was a kid from Pittsburgh that came down, drove down that day, and performed at a very high level for us, and we're inviting him back. Kid Boomer Stiegelman, which is down from the Reading area, that played outdoor in Reading, and we are inviting him back. Another kid, David Stewart, was a forward that played from the Vancouver area, indoor area up there. So there are a couple names that really stood out, and we're looking to invite those guys back. Now, whether it works out logistically for them to attend our trainings and our preseason, we still have to figure that out with them. So there's still a little bit of conversations to be had as far as getting those guys into the preseason camp.
Do you recall the farthest participant somebody from how far somebody came away to participate in the nation?
I think Vancouver might have been the furthest. I know a couple guys came down from Rochester, New York. So with that team folding up there, made some spots available or some opportunities available for people to try and leave Rochester area. So a couple of those locations were pretty distant from us.
Fantastic. Tarik, anything that we missed that you thought was important about the tryout?
No, I think I'd like to take this time to thank all the participants. I know it's not an easy thing to come in and show what you have in only a day or 4 hours, but the guys were great, really receptive, and they really put their best effort out there, and I'd like to thank them at this point.
Well, there was one last question I did think of. You talked about how you want to see how they fit into your system. Did you see a lot of guys that you think might be able to pick it up, or did they pick it up quick enough so you could get a good look at their talent?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we are judging or are gauging these players on is how fast can you adapt. I think that's part of when you come into any team. We want quick learners, and so we put them through a good 5 to 10 minutes of discussion in the beginning, and then the rest of it was just how can you fit in. And how can you adapt and how can you adjust, and that's one of the things that we're testing these players on.
Thank you, Coach Walker, for taking some busy time out of your off season. That's all for this week's edition of the Heat Flash. Stay tuned. We'll have more editions of the Heat Flash coming up. Stay tuned to Heat social media on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and also HarrisburgHeat.com. Thanks for tuning in.